we've still got a few people making their way in, but I think we'll get started so we can stay on time. Welcome to the Global Report session. My name's Tony Smith. I'm the Communications Director at APNIC. If you like your acronyms, you've certainly come to the right session. Today we're going to have some presentations from all of the 5 RIRs, as well as some of the other internet organisations such as ICANN and ISOC. Whether you're a newcomer to the numbering community or an old hand, I always go away from these sessions having learned something, and I hope you'll find it worthwhile today as well. So I'm not going to stay up here and talk for very long because we have a lot of presentations to get through. So I will like to invite our first speaker to come up on stage, and that's Axel Pollock, who is the head of RIPE NCC, and he's also the current NRO EC chair, who'll provide the NRO update. Axel.
Thank you, Tony. So I think we have about 8 minutes. So get cracking. The NRO update. What is the NRO? I'll tell you a little bit about that, how it's organized and what it has been doing, so you'll see why it might be important to you. Now we'll see what this does. It works. So, like I said, what is the NRO activities and the like? NRO is short for the Number Resource Organization. We sat together in 2003 in the relatively early days around ICANN, and we thought, like, what would the RIRs be able to do to help its stability? How could we work together efficiently? How could we organize ourselves in our working together as RIRs? So we set up, let's find a nice acronym, NRO, that's there. We signed an MOU, the then existing 3 RIRs, and of course now we have 5. It's an unincorporated association, very lightweight, large cost involved. What we want to do is to promote a coordinated internet number registry system, to promote the multi-stakeholder model, bottom-up industry, self-regulation, coordinate joint activities of the RIRs, act as a focal point for external input, contacts into the RIRs, and fulfill the role of the ICANN address supporting organization, the ASO. So key focus areas these days support the RIR coordination, no surprise there, to look at global collaboration and governance coordination also outside of the RIRs with the so-called ISTAR groups and the ecosystem at large, and of course also to look at internet governance issues, monitor and contribute to those discussions. And we have been doing that consistently over the last couple of years. We have an executive committee that's basically, and there's no surprise here either, the CEOs of the individual RIRs. This year, I'm the chairperson, Oscar is secretary, John is treasurer, Paul Wilson is on vacation, and so is Patrice as the acting CEO of AFRINIC at this point. Well, saying on vacation means that they don't have any formal role here, but of course they do participate in all this work. Thought I might say that. We have a secretariat that is currently hosted by LACNIC. All those roles, they rotate every year. And we have since 2013 an executive secretary, that's German Valdez, working out of the APNIC offices. We have a lot of coordination groups, lots of acronyms because we love them that much. We have the communications coordination group, the public, I don't know, the PA, what's PA? Public affairs, yes, coordination group. The engineering coordination group, the organization services coordination group, and the IPv6 coordination group. So that makes sense. And they all meet regularly and identify the major cross-RIR issues to work together on. Something about the finances. Of course, we do incur some cost as we support the ASO, AC, the chair, the executive secretary there in going to ICANN and other meetings. Communications, of course, producing collateral for meetings we go to, for the communications coordination group there. We do coordinate and very closely Internet Governance Forum. We contribute to the financing of the secretariat there. And of course, for eternal times, as long as we can remember, we do contribute to ICANN, the mystical $823,000 per year. That has remained stable. There's no reason to change, so that's what we do. And of course, now we have also with Haman been working for this full-time. We have staff costs there as well. The budget is split between the areas based on a formula that takes into account the revenue every area receives from the registration services, basically. Some of us are doing more than just registration services, so we take that into account, and this is yearly agreed. What have we been doing? Standard things that we are doing regularly for the good of the internet is produce information on our core activities as RAS, the Internet Number Status Report. You'll hear about it a little bit later in this session as well. Global stats on numbers, and of course we have that on the ANA website for everybody to look at whenever they choose. Also, we found a couple of years that it would be interesting to have, as far as we can go with the comparison there, comparative policy overview between the area regions, which is also updated quarterly, and it's on our website. New, and that has been happening over the last year, is a governance matrix where we look at every organization, the RARs, and how are we organizing ourselves, how are we governed, what are our membership structures, what committees do we have that help in running the RARs. It's important, especially as we are now talking about IANA stewardship. You probably heard about this on Monday. Accountability is very important, transparency and such. So this is our one of our contributions towards ARIA transparency. Accountability question and answers as well for people who are not so familiar with the RARs. We spell it out a bit. I won't go into details on the IANA stewardship transition. You've heard about this on Monday. This is currently the most important thing I feel that we are doing, that we are currently putting most energy in as individual areas, but obviously through the NRO as well. There are a couple of cross-community working groups within ICANN on enhancing ICANN's accountability, also on internet governance and similar things. And we do take part in those as ARIA staff and also with the members from the ASO Address Council. In signing another MOU, that with ICANN on the provision of the address supporting organization through the NRO, we agreed that we would occasionally, regularly review the workings of the ASO as an organization, and we looked at that. We did this once, we'll do it again, of course, in the future. We have a couple of recommendations from that. Also, the details are on our website, and we have taken some action on recommendations there. Translation of the global policies, for instance, translation is always an interesting point, comes up in all sorts of reviews, and we try to work towards that as well. The ASO website has been redone, should be a bit easier to navigate now, things like that. The Internet Governance Forum also for many, many years, 10 years, huh, is one of our main external relations focus in the NRO. We, as I said, we do contribute $100,000 among the RIRs jointly to the Secretariat. We think the IGF is an important thing. It's our main focus on internet governance there. We have a booth there regularly, produce some collateral, some information material, and of course send ARIA staff, but also increasingly we invite members from our communities to take part in the IGFs and to bridge also the gap between day-to-day ARIA community work and this sort of thing there, the internet governance. The next one will be happening in Brazil at the end of this year. Again, we contribute to that, and we are currently working on proposals for workshops from like the number. Oops, oh, that was quick. I meant to say thank you. If you have any questions, I'm here now. I'll be here until the rest of the week. until the end of the week. And well, thank you for now. I'll be back later.
Thank you, Axel. Next up, we'll hear from the Address Supporting Organisation, and I'd like to invite Tomohiro Fujisaki to provide the update from the ISOC.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tomohiro Fujisaki, an ASOC member from the APNIC region. Okay, let me start. Okay, and this slide shows what is ASOC. And ASOC is the same body as the NRO, Number Resource Organization, Number Council. And we are the Number Resource Policy Advisory Body for ICANN. And we have 50 members, three from each region. And in these three, 2 members are elected from the community, and 1 member is appointed by the RIR board. And in the APNIC region, our term is 2 years for the elected members and 1 year for the appointed member. And our job is to advise ICANN board and to select ICANN board. Many of you know that there are 16 ICANN board seats, and the 2 of them are selected by us. And so selecting the ICANN non-com member is one of our job. And our work is done by the monthly teleconferences and 1 face-to-face meeting in a year. Okay, and this slide shows the current member of the ASOC. And from the APNIC region, and me, and after sitting over there, and Dr. Kumar is a member of the ASOC. And the beginning of this year, in the first meeting of us, we selected the chair, the Rudy from ARIN, and also 2 vice chair were selected. Okay, so in the next few slides, I'll explain about the recent our activities. And as I said, we have monthly conferences, and it was scheduled at the first Wednesday of the month. And also, if we have the urgent issues, we have the emergency meeting in that case. And after APNIC 38, we have 5 teleconferences, and today is first Wednesday of the March, so we have a teleconference. We have the March teleconference at night, so we cannot go out to drink tonight. On the next slide, and as I said, the global policy management is our main job. And here, the global policy is a policy which defines the interaction between the ICANN and the RIRs. And next slide, this slide shows how to develop the global policy. As many of you know, that each RIR have their own policy development process. And the global policy needs to reach consensus in the all 5 RIR policy development process. So we have to shepherd. We ASOC shepherding that process. And after the all RIRs both ratify the global policy, the global policy is sent to the ICANN board to implementation, for implementations. And just now, we don't have the global policy on the table, but we need to review if the global policy was posted to the RIR community. So we organized the Policy Proposal Facilitators Team, PPFT, at the first meeting of this year. And from the APNIC region, I joined this team. And next activity is ICANN board selection. this is also one big job of us. And this year, the ICANN board seat 9, this was occupied by the Ray, and his term will be end this year, so we can select the next ICANN board. For that purpose, we organized the Qualification Review Committee, QRC, and Interview Committee. And from the APNIC region, the actor joined this committee. And this year, we have currently 6 candidates, 3 from ARIN region, and 1 from AFRINIC, and 2 from the LACNIC region. And you can see the name of the candidate and the bio of the candidate from this URL. Please visit this website and check the information. And also, the selection procedure can be referred from the URL. If you have interest, please visit this website. Okay. And this is a timeline of the ICANN board selection this year. Nomination phase already ended last year, and currently we are in the comment phase and the interview phase. The interview committee has been conducting the interview for the candidate, and all of you can comment to for the candidate from our website. So please comment from the website. And we will announce the selected person at the first June of this year. Okay, the next topic is ICANN participation. As Axel is just before, we have been attending every ICANN meeting, and we have the ASOC session for the ICANN participant. And after APNIC 38, there are 2 ICANN meetings at Los Angeles and at Singapore, and we held the ASOC session there. And the topics we have had is IANA strategy transition, and also the report for the ICANN board selection process. And also we had meetings with other organizations, such as At-Large and other SOs and CRISP team. And also every ICANN meeting, we met the ICANN board and discussed the topics about the addressing issue. Okay, all other activities, including the meeting minutes, can be referred from this URL. If you have interest in our activities, please visit this URL. And also, you can post a comment to the ICANN candidate from this website. So, yeah. Okay, that's all. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tomohiro. Now we'll hear from ICANN, and we have Jia-Rong from ICANN's Asia Pacific team here to present the ICANN update.
Thank you, Tony. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jia-Rong from the ICANN Asia Pacific Hub based in Singapore. I'm the Strategy and Initiatives Director. And I'm very happy to be here again at APRICOT, and a big thank you to the hosts, and also thank our partners from APNIC as well. You guys are very good friends. Since we started the office, APNIC has always been a very close partner with ICANN here in Asia. And because of that, we've managed to grow by leaps and bounds. And I'll just touch on the update here. Are my slides coming up? Thank you. Well, I'll just start a little bit while the slides are coming up. We started the Asia Pacific Hub in Singapore in August 2013. And at the time, it was, everyone would know Quek, K-U-E-K, Quek. He's started the office together with me, the two of us, in August. And now, a year and a half later, now we have 24 staff. And Quek and I are in the global stakeholder engagement team, and our work is really to reach out to various stakeholders to be engaged in ICANN. And we also have a large number of other functions now that that can service the region not only from the Los Angeles office, but also directly here in the Asia Pacific, and speaking the local languages that are required. So there's the contractual compliance function, registrar, registry services function, the security, stability, and resiliency engagement function. And many of you will have met Champika either in your country or at the workshop last week. So Champika gives a lot of workshops regarding security, stability, and resiliency. And also we have the legal function, and the legal, comms, ops, finance, and HR functions might not look much, but they really mean a lot, especially when you're talking about an Asia Pacific hub. It's not like a branch where you process some things out of a branch and the HQ makes the decisions, but in the Asia Pacific hub, we really have these key functions that help to allow us on a day-to-day basis be able to service the region very effectively. And one of the items I want to call out is under the ops team, we also have an IT function which allows us to host webinars. And we host bi-monthly webinars once every 2 months, and on various topics that are requested by the community, giving you updates on what is happening at ICANN, and allowing you to be able to engage with us further. So these are some key functions, and I'm very happy to report the growth of the Asia Pacific Hub. And this would not have happened without really the support from the community here in this region, and I'd like to thank you. So I skipped the overview part at the beginning. So the first is to talk about the update on the Asia Pacific Hub. The others is actually in early February, we just had the ICANN meeting in Singapore. And of course, the key focus of that meeting was the IANA stewardship transition. So I shall not go into that one since everyone's been talking about it a lot. And I'll focus on more the day-to-day issues. And there are 3 issues that I'd like to highlight coming out from the ICANN meeting, just to give you a quick snapshot of what happened. So the 3 topics are new GTLDs, internationalized domain names, and universal acceptance. So new GTLDs, we have so far been rolling out the new GTLD program, and globally over 500 new GTLDs have since been delegated. This number is being updated every day, so clearly this number is outdated here. But from the Asia Pacific region, you can see 63 new GTLDs have been delegated. So we are moving at a relatively good pace. Just this morning, I've seen an update. The most recent new GTLD that was delegated is .政府in Chinese, which is .government. So we are quickly moving along this. And in terms of the program timeline, you can see on this slide that we are moving ahead. The progress is relatively smooth. And we need to make sure that all of the first round's new GTLDs are being delegated. And based on this current projection, we're looking at some time around the timeline of 2017. So what's next for the new GTLD program while we are rolling out the new GTLDs in the first round is to do a program review of what things that we have learned so that we can take the lessons learned from the first round and go into the next round. So this part is where we really need community to give us the feedback. And the areas of review are going to be covered in all sorts of areas right from the beginning to the area where people who are involved in the contracting to delegation, every step will need your feedback. So the publication of reports are coming up in the second quarter of this year. And so watch this space. We will pump this out to you guys and hope that we can get some comments and feedback. Now, the next update is on the internationalized domain names, top-level domain program update. And the background to IDNs, I'll just be really brief about this because I think everyone in the room knows this. So basically, IDNs are top-level domains that do not use the ASCII script. So it can be scripts in Chinese, Japanese, in Hindi. These are scripts that don't follow the ASCII script codes. And the issue now is as we adopt more and more non-ASCII script top-level domains, each of the scripts themselves, some scripts have variants. And like the most simple example here in this region would be the traditional and simplified Chinese script. So the two characters look different but actually mean the same thing to the user. And variants use different Unicodes. So the problem comes when you're applying for a single simplified script. There is a variant, and the variant causes trouble when you want to look for the top-level domain. Now, language generation panels were then formed so that they can decide which variant should be used and which variant should be blocked. And it has to come from community. So the work has started already. And we started with 22 scripts. Now we have 28 scripts that can begin the work. But this work cannot come from ICANN staff. I only know one language, 3 languages actually. And I'm not a linguist expert. But what we need is to have community, the language experts, the program experts, policy experts to all come together and form a panel to decide under each script what labels, what characters and scripts can be used, and what are the variants that you should be allowed to be allocated, or should we block it so that there won't be a problem in the IDN space. So this is the update on this slide. You will see that 3 blue bars on Arabic, Armenian, and Chinese language generation rule sets have been submitted. And also in Japanese and Neo-Brahmi, they have been submitted as well. So we're in the process of evaluating that. The orange bars are the language generation panels that have already been formed and started the work to identify what are the variants that should be used or not. And the gray ones are the ones that my colleague Samad Hussain, who is based in Pakistan, he's working very hard to reach out to the communities using these scripts to form a language generation panel so that we can make sure that under this script, we know which characters and which words can be used. So this is not an exhaustive list. There are now 28 different scripts that are ready to move into the language generation work. So if you look at the gray ones, and if you know of people who are in this community that can help to drive this forward, please reach out to us and we will be happy to work with you. So the next step of the language generation rule set work is to be able to integrate all the various language generation rule sets that's developed by the communities, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Neo-Brahmi, and so on, and be able to integrate into one system. And instead of a primitive back to the old days when we want to find out whether we can use a certain variant and manually look into a list, we are hoping to work it into a machine-readable system where the one system would allow you, a user, to go in and see whether this particular word can be used as a variant or is it blocked. So the example here you see is this word domain, which has a special variant character to the other word domain. Once you key this in, the system will be able to let you know whether you can use the variant or not. And in this case, you cannot use the variant. So this is the idea behind this. This is currently in its initiation phase, and we will need to work with the community to be able to push this out going forward. So the third one is, really quickly, is on the topic of universal acceptance. We've heard about this quite often. Basically, as we have more and more new GTLDs, that's more than just 3 characters, and also IDNs, which uses not just ASCII script. The software, programs, forms online, all of these will have to be able to accept the use of these domain names. So this is an issue that would affect everyone. So the update is coming into the ICANN 52 meeting. A group of community members held a workshop before that, and they submitted a letter to the ICANN board to form a Universal Acceptance Steering Group, or UASG. So the UASG would help to steer and provide guidance to ICANN team and bring in the community to be able to address this issue. So this is a very good update because some of the members in the UASG in the community come from this region and can be our champions. So while this is ongoing and the structure, the charter, and plans for the UASG are being defined as we speak, I encourage you to watch this space and also to join the mailing list here at the bottom of this slide to find out what's going on. And it would be great if we can have more Asia-Pacific community members participate in the UASG to help to allow our own regions, new GTLDs and IDNs be accepted and used pervasively within our region and also globally. So that's a quick update on what's happened in the recent ICANN meeting. And I hope to be able to work with you more closely going forward. Thank you. Sorry, I have a comment from Koi.
Jia-Rong, can I ask one question? Do you have any idea or number how many registry in the new GTL or whatever registry they actually locate in the Asia Pacific region, and how many of the registrars actually locate in the Asia Pacific region too?
Oh, I don't have the numbers with me directly at this time.
Is it possible, maybe next time you can let us know? I think, maybe some of the people in the number community like to know, how many. Usually the registry, most of them actually in the US or in the Europe, but because of new GTLD, as I know, there's many of the new registry actually located in the Asia Pacific regions, and particularly the registrar also. It might be it's good to let us know, the number and where they located.
Got it.
So, we can have some communication between this number name community together. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We'll definitely put that in the next update. Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have Elise Gerich from ICANN to come and deliver the IANA update. While Elise makes her way to the stage, you may have seen yesterday that IANA delegated a /13 to each of the RIRs. Normally the numbers community is the quieter and, dare I say it, the more well-behaved child of IANA's three children, but yesterday was a bit of action. So here's Elise.
Now he stole all my thunder, he gave my news. But hi, for those of you who may not know me, I'm Elise Gerich. I'm ICANN's Vice President of the IANA functions, and this is the IANA update report. So what I will talk about, and you just heard from Tony, is IPv4 allocation, performance reports, audits, and RDAP implementation. So as you probably know, the policy that the RIR has created for global updates for allocation of IPv4 addresses from the recovered pool has two allocation dates, one on March 1st and one on September 1st. Well, March 1st was just a couple days ago, so there was time for an allocation of IPv4 addresses equally across all the RIRs. And this is the formula. It's online. You can go in and see what the next allocation, September 1st, will look like. But this is the slide that shows you how the addresses from the IPv4 allocation pool were And all these reports are monthly reports. The list that you see behind me on the website has IETF statistics reports. We've been publishing those reports the longest, since 2007. So there are quite a few monthly reports on what we've done for the protocol parameters. Then there's the performance standards metric report, the internet draft processing status, the root zone audit data report, which is a monthly report that shows all the changes in the root zone that were entered into the root zone that previous month. And finally, the processing times for doing root zone changes. The number allocation resources performance report is the one that I've shown up here. And I'm happy to say they're all little green checks. But then again, it's pretty easy to get green checks when there hasn't been a request. So if you notice at the very bottom, this says that for the month, last month, we didn't have any internet number requests. So therefore, everything was green. We completed everything in 100% of the target times. But typically, I'll give you some time to read this. There's accuracy, timeliness, and transparency of processing the requests we do get. So next month, it should show up that we did allocate IPv4 addresses and maybe some others if we get autonomous system number requests. And it will track how well we did against those KPIs: accuracy, timeliness, and transparency. So this graph's kind of odd, but it talks about the protocol parameters requests and the SLA we have with the IATF. And the x-axis starts at 97% and it goes up to 100%. That's because the target for the IATF processing of protocol parameters requests is that the IANA functions will complete 90% of the requests in a timely fashion that has been designated. So what this is showing you is that we've always exceeded in the last year, and the year 2014, processing many more requests within the SLA that's been established. Finally, the root zone management. This shows you how many root zone change management requests we receive and the average processing time. This is a 1-month report. And I think my colleague just finished saying, you know, how many 500 plus new Gs have come through. But if you look at the line that says delegation, redelegation, you can see that we're quite efficient at processing those new GTLDs. If there was a request for a delegation of a CCTLD, that always skews the processing time because it's far more intensive to receive all the documentation, and the negotiations back and forth with the CCTLD operators takes a lot longer. Audits. We do audits. Whoops, I just went by it. So the IANA department has just completed 2 audits with an external auditor, PricewaterhouseCoopers. These are SysTrust audits, otherwise known as a SOC 2 and a SOC 3 audit. One is for our DNSSEC systems, that's for the key signing of the root. And the other audit is for the IANA systems in general. That includes our trouble ticketing system, the root zone management system, and all the other tools and services that we have. So the DNSSEC audit, the certifications for the SOC 3 audits, are published on the website. The SOC 2 audit is something that we don't publish. However, we will put up a summary of what the results were. It's part of the contractual relationship with the third-party auditor that we're not allowed to publish the full set of their results. And I guess that's fairly standard for SOC 2 SysTrust audits. Finally, I wanted to say something quickly about RDAP, the registration protocol. The IATF has this draft for RDAP. It went through final call. It'll be getting an RFC number shortly. There are a good number of IANA considerations within this registry document. Some of them will impact the RIRs also. And one of the things we have to do is that we have to make sure that we have a mechanism for collecting RDAP server information. The IANA function has to be able to collect that. And we have to have registries available on demand in JSON format. That's the format defined within the RDAP protocol. So this is an activity we're beginning to undertake right now. We're looking at what we can do with our systems and what we need to implement. We'll be reaching out to the RIRs to see what you're doing and how we'll be compatible. And then finally, what the future steps for that will be. So this is something that's coming along the pike, and I'm hoping that I'll hear from some of the other RIRs what your RDAP plans are. And finally, that's the end of my IANA functions report from ICANN. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to entertain them. No questions? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Elise. And now we will hear from ISOC, which is active in our region, and we have Raj Singh here from ISOC Asia Pacific.
Right, good morning. I think Tony wasn't too confident that I was in the room. Right, okay, this is the clicker thing. Good morning, my name is Rajnesh, or Raj Singh, from the Internet Society's Asia Pacific Bureau, and I'm the regional director. I'll make a very quick update on ISOC. I don't have very much to share as such. I'll skip through that. I think everyone knows who ISOC is. One thing I'd like to point out there is our latest individual membership numbers. So it's just over 71,500 members globally, about 150 odd organizational members, and 100 odd chapters. We have 5 operating regions, Asia Pacific being one of them, as well as Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean, Africa, and North America. And of course, our technical perspective that we have with ISOC is that we're the organizational home for the IETF, amongst a few other entities. What does ISOC do? Again, there's no point me, I think, dwelling on that, but we like to say we work at the intersection of policy, technology, and development. Some statistics on how our chapters are spread out across the region, or across the world, I should say. We have 108 at the moment. 20 of them are in the Asia Pacific region, and the rest are sprinkled in the other regions. Within the Asia Pacific region, we have just over 22,600 individual members, which represents nearly a third of ISOC's membership globally. I mentioned before we have 20 chapters in the region, which is roughly 18% of our chapters. Not all individual members are chapter members, so that's why you see a different figure there for chapter members. So 13,800 odd chapter members in the region are from Asia Pacific. The Singapore office, well, our regional office is in Singapore, it was established in 2011. We have staff spread out across the region though. It's a big and wide region, so we thought it makes much more sense to have people spread out across the region than to have them all in one place. So based on that, we have myself shuttling between Singapore and Sydney. We have Amelia and Olivia in Singapore, Tuang Tep in Bangkok, Navid in Islamabad, Pakistan, and Noel in Manila. This is a list of our chapters in the region. You see the ones in green, which is coming out okay, are our latest chapters. We have India Trivandrum, which was formed just a couple of weeks ago. Indonesia Jakarta was late last year, and the Republic of Korea was revived late last year as well. We do a whole lot of things. There's technical-oriented things, there's policy-related things, and of course there's a whole lot of capacity building and development things as well. You'll see people from the ISOC team floating around APRICOT this week. We have 2 people from our standards and technology team, Andre and Chris, and they're doing quite a few things from the technical side of things at this event. We also have Naveed here and Amelia who are floating around trying to engage with the community and so on. So please, if you do see someone with an ISOC badge, do say hello. We'd love to talk to you. Again, I won't go through all the little things we do. However, I will mention one little project that has been really great for us over the last couple of years, which is the Wireless for Communities project. We started off in South Asia. At the end of 2013, we won 2 awards for that as well. So it's something I really like to talk about. We continue to try and expand that, not just within South Asia, but beyond that. So if there's anyone interested in helping us with that, we'd be happy to talk to you. We can't do these things without partnerships. So again, please do talk to us if it's of interest to you. What the project is just running community wireless networks in rural locations. And basically, it's not just about deploying technology, but looking at a very holistic way in how we can improve the socioeconomic status of people in that community. Again, I'd be happy to talk to you about that later. For 2014, we created a report, and I've put the link on that for that report there. It's about 30-odd pages long. It looks at what we've done in the region over the course of 2014, some of our initiatives and activities, as well as information on how we did things. So again, I'd invite you to download that and have a read. And if someone wants, I'm happy to email them a PDF as well. What's coming up in 2015? Last year we launched a regional internet policy survey. We did that as an internal exercise in 2014. We were quite astounded by the results, so in 2015 we've decided to regularize it, and we'll do that every year from now on. Basically, it has about 30-odd questions. It goes out to people in the Asia-Pacific region and asks various questions around how they use the internet as well, their concerns around security, access, and so on and so forth. We expect the results to be out in April. We were quite happy with the respondents. We had over close to 3,500 people respond to that survey. And I know some of you helped us get the word out on that, so thank you for your assistance with that, and hope we have continued assistance in the future. Chapters are an important part of ISOC, and they've been with us ever since more or less we started off. So in line with that, we do a chapters workshop every year for our chapters in the region. This year it's in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Q2, it's going to be in June. As well, we run several webinars and campaigns with our members and for the larger community. In the past, we've done things like spam and security and telecom policy regulation. And we intend to try and expand that out a little bit more this year. So instead of limiting it to our members in chapters, we are going to open it up to the wider community. So again, as those things roll out, we'd be happy to provide you with details on that so you could perhaps circulate within your own communities. The ISOC AGM is in July. One thing, most organizations with an AGM, they actually have an annual general meeting with members. We don't really do that. We haven't really done that in the past. This year we're trying to change things around a little bit. Our challenge, of course, is we have members across the world, members and stakeholders spread out across the world, so it's really hard to do an event somewhere where everyone can congregate. So what we are currently looking into is seeing how we can do a virtual members meeting that will span the globe. The current thinking is that we'll have 5 to 10 regional hubs across the world, and we're working on ways on how we can get people into those regional hubs to talk to us. The board itself is actually meeting in New Zealand, in Auckland, in July, so that's where they will be. Of course, the other challenge we'll have is time zones, because it's a big world out there. So we're still working on that, and the details on that will be announced in due course as we finalize arrangements on that. Our regional ANA this year is in Colombo. It just so happens it's the 20th anniversary of the internet in Sri Lanka, so we're very happy to partner with the Sri Lankan community to hold a regional ANA there in Q2. The dates for that, if I have them right, I think it's 7 and 8 June. We had some venue issues, and I think we've just sorted them out recently, so it will be the first week of June or thereabouts. The updated details will be on our website. Beyond that, we do what we call Asia Internet Symposiums. We did 4 last year. We expect to do 4 to 6 this year. One of the things with conferences is, and I know it's happening to us at APRICOT as well, there's so many things running in parallel, you can't be everywhere all at once. So the concept we came up with the Internet Symposium was that it's one event, it's focused on one single topic. It's a short format event, so it's easy to attend. And it's been working really well for us, so we'll try and expand that a little bit more. In the past, we've done the mobile internet, cybersecurity, internet and human rights, and so on. So please see our website if that's of interest to you. We continue to collaborate with various organizations in the region, and APNIC and ICANN in particular are ones that we are talking to and working with to see what else we can do. I mentioned the Wireless for Communities project earlier. So we've done 4 phases of that over the last 4 years. The current phase looks at empowering women and minority communities. And I just wanted to highlight that in that phase, we've actually trained over 4,000 women and female youth in rural areas of India as part of the project, upskilling them on ICT skills, teaching them how to use the internet and have access to information. So that's been quite nice to see that working out well. In terms of policy engagement, we are a member of APT, the Asia Pacific Telecommunity, so we engage with them quite closely, including speaking at the events as well as offering information and guidance where it's appropriate. As well at APEC-TEL, we are we have what's called a guest status at APEC-TEL. So we're usually at those meetings and we engage with them as well. And of course, as you may know, APEC-TEL and APT cover a whole lot of policy and regulatory issues in the region. We're also currently just about to finalize a regional study on Southeast Asia. As some of you may know, the ASEAN Economic Community integrates in 2015. And we thought it would be an opportune time for us to look at what infrastructure exists in the Southeast Asian region and provide some suggestions as to how that could be incorporated into a digital economy going forward for the ASEAN nations. We'll be doing some sort of, we won't have a big launch for this study because the Southeast Asian region itself is quite large. So we expect to do a couple of, like a roadshow, we could call it. The first one of that will be in Manila at the end of this month. And then we're looking at Jakarta and Singapore and Bangkok later on. In terms of stakeholder engagement, we continue to engage with the community. ISOC has been a long-time sponsor of the APRICOT Fellowship Program, which allows engineers from developing countries to attend APRICOT, the workshops as well as the conference tracks, and gain some knowledge on what's happening currently. We have also some focus on sub-regional programs. We're looking at what we can do for the Pacific Islands, for example, as well as South Asia and Southeast Asia, and of course East Asia and the Pacific. We still run a community grants program. The next cycle will start in May. It's projects up to $10,000. The criteria is by ISOC strategic objectives. The link is there if you wish to have a look. Again, we'd be happy for you to circulate that within your networks to see if someone's interested in submitting a grant proposal for that. Leadership programs as well, ITF fellowships. We've been pushing ITF participation from the Asia Pacific region for quite a while now. It's slowly improving, and we'd like to do as much as we can on that. Of course, we have an ITF meeting in Asia Pacific this year in Yokohama in November, and I'm hoping perhaps some of you may be attending that. We continue to also support what we call the public policy track at ITF, where we get policymakers and regulators from around the world to attend a dedicated policies track during the ITF meeting so they can get a better understanding of how standards making, the internet standards making actually works and how they could contribute and use that within their own policy deliberations. Finally, as I mentioned earlier, I've got colleagues from our standards and technology team who are here at APRICOT. We have a buff session today, operators in the ITF. One of the challenges we've always faced at the ITF is trying to bridge the gap between how network operators use standards and how we create them. So this is an attempt to do that. ISOC has been trying to facilitate that, trying to bridge that gap. We have a buff session planned for 5:30 just on this floor across the hall here. So if that is of interest to you, please do attend, and we'd like to hear your feedback on how we can help improve whatever processes exist. With that, thank you very much for your attention. We have a regional newsletter and a blog, and I'd invite you to subscribe to those. As well, we run a Scoop It page where we curate news from the Asia Pacific region, internet-related news. And again, I'd invite you to subscribe to that and follow us on Twitter. If you need anything from us, please email us at apac@isoc.org, apac@isoc.org, and please help us ensure the continued development and evolution of the internet. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take it. Outstanding. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll hear from each of the RIRs. Firstly, we are going to hear from Patrice Deese, the acting CEO of AFRINIC. Now, unfortunately, Patrice isn't here in person, but we do have his update and an audio and accompanying audio commentary. So if you just bear with us a moment, we'll tee this up and you will be able to hopefully hear Patrice.
Good morning, everyone. I am Gaia Fall, the head of communication.
Yep, just give us a moment. And we won't hear him in triplicate.
Good morning, everyone. I am Gaia Fall, the head of communications and PR at AFRINIC, based, of course, in Eben.
Difficulties with the file that was sent through from AFRINIC, but the slides will be available, well, they are available right now on the APRICOT website. So I encourage you to go and to view them there rather than have you sit here while we try and make the file work. So next up, I'll ask Guangliang from APNIC to come and present our presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Guangliang Pen. I am the Registration Service Manager at APNIC. Today, I will present the Internet Number Resource Status Report. This report is prepared by 5 RIRs. The data in the report is up to December 2014. First, let's look at the IPv4. This slide shows the total IPv4 status. We all know we have 256/8 in the IPv4 address space. And what is the status of them now? 35 of them was reserved for technical reasons. And 91 of them has been allocated before the IR system. That is the early stage. And 130 blocks were allocated to the IRs by IANA directly. And you can also see the number of /8 each IR received it from IANA. APNIC has 45, ARIN has 36, and AFRINIC has 5, LACNIC has 9, and WebNCC has 35. And after IANA allocated the file /8 to each IR in 2011, and the IANA fee pool is become 0. You can see that 0 red. It means the central pool of the IPv4 is running out already. And then after that, and how many of these have been delegated to the members by the IR, and how much of IPv4 space still live in the IR fee pool? Now, this slide shows the available IPv4 still in each of the IR pool. You can see AFRINIC have a bit more. They still have nearly 3/8 in their pool, but other IR seems has around 1/8 or less than 1/8 in their fee pool now. And interesting to see, LACNIC and ARIN actually is less than half of /8 in their pool. And because they don't have the file /8 policy, and the IPv4 pool is running out faster than APNIC and WebNCC, you can see at the file stage. And WebNCC also hit the file /8, but they have a little bit recovered the IPv4 address from IANA. So their pool is just jump up just above 1/8. And this slide shows the IPv4 delegation since 1999. And very interesting to see the last few years, the IPv4 delegation is slowed down, especially in APNIC region, since we hit the file /8 in 2011. In the last few years, you can see the APNIC delegation, the total size is very small. And also follow the WebNCC as well. They also hit the file /8 in 2012. And then in the last 2 years, the allocation from WebNCC also very small. And the last 2 years, LACNIC and ARIN still making large amount of IPv4 delegation. The interesting part for looking at the statistic data is to look at the data and see what's happening next. Now, based on the last slide, you can see ARIN and LACNIC has a very small pool. So if we look in the future for this year, I believe LACNIC and WebNCC and ARIN we also can allocate it a little IPv4. So in the 2015, you will see 4 of the IRs, like APNIC, WeaponsCC, ARIN, and LACNIC will be very little allocation from the pool. And probably AFRINIC still can continue making large IPv4 allocation in 2015 and onward. This is the total IPv4 delegations since 1999 to the members by each IR. You can see APNIC actually delegated more IPv4 than other regions. It reflects the population and the internet growth in our region. Let's move on to the AS numbers. The AS number allocation is very stable. Actually, in the last 10 years, you can see it is very stable. Every year seems to delegate a similar amount of AS numbers. And this is the total AS numbers delegated by each of the IRs. And ARIN and WeaponsCC actually allocate more AS number than other regions. And the interesting part is the 4-byte AS number. Since 2007, we start assign 4-byte AS numbers. And in the recent years, the 4-byte AS number assignment is increased. Especially in start from 2010, the policy says there's no difference between 2-byte and 4-byte AS number since 2010. So the delegation of 4-byte AS number has been increased since then. And now the IANA pool of 2-byte AS number is very small. I believe they have less than 300 2-byte AS number in the IANA fee pool. And you can see 2014, all the IRs delegated more to 4-byte AS numbers. And this is the total 4-byte AS number assigned by each IR. You can see WeaponsCC, APNIC, LACNIC, they assign more 4-byte AS numbers. Finally, let's look at the IPv6. This is the total IPv6 space. In the early stage, IANA only used 1/12 to make allocation to the NIRs. You can see the red circle. The allocation size from IANA was /23 to the IR at the beginning, and they only used 1/A to delegate it to all the IRs. And since 2016, IANA made a /12 to each of the IRs. So the IRs can start using the SPAR allocation in the /12 pool. This information will be related to one of the policy proposals later on tomorrow. It's about the IPv6 delegation. This is the graph showing the IPv6 delegation by each IR. And we can see the IPv6 allocation still increase, especially in the WeaponsCC and LACNIC region. I believe the LACNIC and WeaponsCC region, they have a policy. If you want to require IPv4, and then you also need to require IPv6. That's why the members have more IPv6 than other regions. And this is the total IPv6 allocations by each RIR. And WebNCC actually allocated more than other regions. And also, we make direct assignment to end users. This is the number of IPv6 direct assignments by each of the RIR. And also, LACNIC and ARIN is making more assignments. And we have a few hundred assignments each year by each of the RIR. And AFRINIC is a bit little at the moment. And here is the total IPv6 assignment by each of the RIR. And you can see ARIN and WebNCC is making more IPv6 assignment than other regions. And now finally look at the percentage of member who has both IPv6 and IPv4. You can see LACNIC and WebNCC. The percentage of member of IPv6 is much higher than other region. Yeah, I believe this is because they have a policy. A new member come in to require for IPv4, and they also mandatory to ask for IPv6 at this stage. And APNIC also have a lot of new member comes in, but some of them they only require for IPv4 only. That's why our percentage of member have IPv6 is not going up in the last few years. It still stays under 50% because some of the members, they only ask for IPv4. And we have new member going up. We also continue to allocate IPv6, but the percentage of the member have IPv6 is still under 50%. This report will be available in the NRO website, and we update it every 3 months. So you can look at the previous report, or you can check the latest one every 3 months. And yeah. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Guangliang. Now we'll hear from ARIN, and we have ARIN Hughes from the ARIN Board of Trustees here to present their update.
Good afternoon. I'm ARIN Hughes. I'm on the ARIN Board of Trustees, here to give you the ARIN update. So for 2015, the ARIN region is focused on primarily the bullets you see in front of you. There's a customer service focus this year based on some feedback from a survey that was taken about a year ago. There's continued V4 to V6 transition awareness, specifically targeting ISPs and content providers. And in this case, we're focusing on targeting marketing and PR for getting websites dual stacked. Continue to participate in internet governance forums, maintaining the community multi-stakeholder policy development model, participating in planning discussions for the IANA transition, and of course, continued development and integration of web-based functionality, trying to automate more things. So some interesting trends this year. Over the last year, the minimum size V4 allocation changed to a /24, and there have been about a little over 1,000 allocations of 24s. So this is certainly increasing the number of members in the ARIN region. And some upstreams are sending their customers to ARIN, which is, you know, a sign of run out. And certainly there's a lot more transfers. Operational improvements this year and last is all certainly based on a bunch of stuff based on the customer satisfaction survey. We're working on following up action items based on those results, and integrating transfers with ARIN Online. So the 8.3, the in-region transfers have been added to the ARIN website, and we're working on the 8.4 for inter-region transfers. So the benefit of that is certainly it'll increase the speed and accuracy of those transfers. The current V4 inventory, as it says on the website right this moment, is 0.3, or the equivalent of 0.31/8s in aggregates. And of course, as Elise mentioned a little earlier, we just received another /13 2 days ago, so that number should be reflected later on this week. And then reserve inventory, we have the equivalent of roughly 22/16s in quarantine. It's returned or revoked or held space for various reasons. The /10 from 4.10 for a block to facilitate V6 deployment, and roughly 220/24s for microallocations. ISP members over the last 5 years, you can see this is a graph showing V4 only and V4 and dual stacked members. This is actually pretty nice. Over the last 5 years, you can see that we've gone from what used to be 80-20 to now nearly 50% of the members having a dual stack, or at least an allocation of both V4 and V6. So that's a good sign. IPv4 transfers to specified recipients. So far, 191 prefixes from a /24 up to a size 12. We've seen 16 ASN transfers, and their transactions are often arranged through a V4 broker. Inter-RIR transfers, we've seen 117 prefixes from a size /24 to a size 13. All of those are ARIN to APNIC thus far. And you can certainly see the statistics at the URL below. RKPI usage is growing slowly but steadily, and actually heard this morning that there will be a one in the up-down delegated as well by the time the next report comes out. Policy proposals on the docket. There's one for out-of-region use. Actually, you can read this list yourself. If you'd like to get involved in any of the policy proposals that are on the docket right now, certainly feel free to join the ARIN PPML list, or remote participate, or participate at one of the upcoming meetings. And speaking of, our next ARIN meeting is in San Francisco in April 12th through 15th, and the following one will be in Montreal in October. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Fantastic, thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Now we move to Latin America, and we would like to invite Janina Pensky to come and provide the update from LACNIC.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Janina Pensky. I'm from LACNIC, and I'm going to present the update report of LACNIC. Okay, as many of you may know, LACNIC is one of the world's 5 RIAs. We have a coverage area of 34 territories all over South America and the Caribbean. We have 2 NIRs, also co-founders of LACNIC. One is NIC BR in Brazil, and the other one is Mexico. And we consider NIR members are LACNIC members too. We have now over 4,300 members, and we have 41 full staff from 9 countries. And since February 2015, we have a new CEO, who is Oscar. Here you can see, sorry. Our membership growth since our beginning in LACNIC in 2002. We have now, as I was saying before, 4,328 members. Most of them are ISPs, and they are small micro category, most of them. About the IPv4 exhaustion, we have 2/11 blocks, IPv4, reserved for one for soft landing and the other one for new members only. For both blocks, the maximum allocation is /22 that we usually give for ISPs, and the minimal allocation is /24 that we usually give for end users. Also, the resources IANA to LACNIC will only be allocated under the guidelines set forth on new members only. That would be phase 3. I will explain in the next slide. We are currently in phase number 2 of the 4 phases of the IPv4 exhaustion. Organizations may request additional resources every 6 months, and this process will be implemented until the /11 reserve for gradual exhaustion is finally exhausted. I leave you there a link where you can get more information and details about it. Also in our website, that is LACNIC.net, you can see every day the update of the IP addresses available, IPv4 addresses available. Here we can see the IPv6 addresses assigned by type of resource holder, the percentage. We have still 57% available, and most of our ISP addresses were assigned to ISPs. Most of our IPv4 addresses were assigned to ISPs. Then we have made a modeling exhaustion in which we want to estimate the date of the exhaustion of the /11. We have extrapolated the total IP addresses available in order to do this. Here we can see the IPv4 and IPv6 allocations per month in the last 12 months. From LACNIC, from APNIC, they were saying before, we have a similar behavior between IPv4 and IPv6 allocations. This is because we have a policy that when new members ask for IPv4, they must ask for IPv6 too. This is why we have the same behavior. According, as I was saying before, we have 4,328 members, and most of them, they have IPv4 and IPv6 allocations. And here we can see the assignments and allocation in the last years so far. This is the IPv4 rate we had in the last 12 months. We can see the decrease, especially it starts in June 2014. This is because that was the date when we entered the soft landing with the /11. Then, according to the policy update, we have recently implemented the policy about modification to the text describing ASN distribution requirements, and we are discussing update to the policy development process that this proposal will be presented on our next event. I want to, also you can participate of our policy list and enter our policy system to see the updates of our proposals. We have upcoming workshops, the IPv4, IPv6 workshop in Trinidad and Tobago. Then we have a computer security workshop in Costa Rica. And then it's the first IPv6 basic workshop on campus online. Our next event is LACNIC 23 in Lima, Peru. You are all invited to come here. And thank you very much, and I would be glad to answer any of your questions. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Janina. Lucky last presentation. We'll hear again from Axel, who will now give us an update on what's going on at the RIPE NCC.
Thank you again. I'm Axel Pavlik, and this time I'm the Managing Director of the RIPE NCC. I have a couple of slides. I'll try to be concise. No, it's gone again. No. Yes. Okay, there's a lot going on. I have a minute to talk, so let's get cracking. There are lots and lots of new members at the RIPE NCC. We are astonished. We do have a feeling that quite a number of the new ones are coming for the last V4 addresses they can snatch up. But, well, it's cool. There's more members. We managed to have our budget sort of on an even keel, so more efficiently we work. And so overall, the fees can go down. For 2015, we are down to 1,600 now. We are setting up small offices, or we have been setting up small offices in Dubai and in Moscow. We have been doing regional meetings there for a long time. We heard from our local or regional communities there that they would like to see more of us, so that's what they get. There's more contact with our members, with sort of the wider community, with governments there as well. We do some smaller events there. And the most important thing is that we have people speaking the local languages. We do more smaller regional meetings, apart from the big sort of Russian area and the big Middle Eastern parts. We've been in Bulgaria, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and Iran last year, and we are preparing to go to Serbia, Georgia, Armenia, and some other meeting in the course of this year. So it's quite a bit of travel there. We have commitment from our staff and from our board also to be there. It's great to be seen locally. We are very popular incoming. People sometimes can't believe that we are going there, but we do, and it's good feedback that we get. Yes, we have V4 addresses left, and thanks to Elise, even more since yesterday. The number of transfers is going up. That's sort of expected, and it's happening with a couple of policy changes also to basically iron out some not necessary bureaucracy anymore. V6, yes, we see 70% of, we've seen that 70% of members have V6 address space. Not everybody is doing something with it. We try to change that. We do a lot of courses, hands-on courses. We do the IPv6 roadshows, of which we have 10 planned for this year. And we have in-house appointed a coordination person, Natalie, out of the training team, looks after IPv6 coordination in-house specifically. Also not unexpected, but sadly it does happen, more hijackings, and people are getting a little bit cheeky with sometimes more sophisticated methods, but sometimes just plain brute force, faking registration identity papers. It's nasty, and we have to use our work time to get to the ground of that, and we try to do it as much as possible. We go to the police force as well and say, look, that is clearly not good, please do something about that. I doubt that it's very successful, but we have to take some action. We do some more thorough checks on this one. We have 233 resources investigated in the course of last year. But of course, it's always a little bit difficult to try to be as precise and thorough as possible while not appearing to be overly bureaucratic by good people. So it's a difficult thing that we are doing there. Oops. Yep. Another new thing that we have started last year is the assisted registry checks. We used to do audits, and they were always seen as intrusive and not very much liked. We didn't do as many of them. So we turned it around and said, look, this is basically an activity by us to keep our registry up to date and the contents correct, but also as help to our members to actively go out to them, show them what we have in our files for them and about their address holdings. And we've started this last year, and it has become rather popular. So that's quite a good thing there. RPKI, it is seen as somewhat positive there. There's quite some uptake you've seen across the RIR's regions. This is the leader here. Quite a lot of members are using them. Of course, we do work on the interface all the time. We slightly increased functionality. We cover all sorts of address space, including PI and legacy space now. It's a good activity. Training, it's incredibly popular. People want us to come out more and more and more often. And we have a sizable training team, but they are human and they can't be everywhere at the same time. So we decided to react to that wish of the community by doing some more online courses, set up a system here. That has proven very popular for the first courses that we have done. But of course, now we need to broaden the scope of this thing. But it's lovely. Of course, it does not really help with face-to-face contact. So that's why we still, of course, continue with the face-to-face training courses that we do, because we get quite a lot of feedback from that. Feedback is important. We do big membership surveys, community surveys. The last one we did in 2013. We got quite a number of responses from that with 48 key findings, we call them, things that we identified in the feedback that we acted upon. What we do now, what we have done now, late last year and early this year, do sort of focus group meetings with smaller groups, just to get a feeling what our members see of our efforts. Have we made progress on those things or not? We've done that. The report is out in January this year. And the executive board has been looking at it, of course, staff as well, and there will be a response. But of course, basically we're saying, yes, we hear you, we are working on those things, and thank you very much for your input. So the next big survey will happen in 2016. Right, I won't talk much about policies, we don't have that much time. Most of them are about transfers, not really a surprise. The slides are online, just have a look there. Yes. Good. IANA stewardship is important to us, as I said earlier as well. We are looking at this very carefully. We are preparing now first draft text on an SLA with ICANN, and we'll keep the community, of course, up to date on what is happening there, also whether we are doing the right things and the like. It's all very much based on the CRISP principles that the CRISP team has worked on earlier this year. Outreach is important, not only, as I said, for the NRO, but certainly for the RIPE NCC. We are very busy there. We have a strong external relations team there. We do government roundtable meetings regularly, about twice a year. Next week, we will go to London to meet the law enforcement agencies once more. It's always very popular that we turn up there and give them some insight on how the RIRs are working. We're doing this together with the other RIRs as well. So it's a joint effort there. The next regional meeting is coming up in Dubai. If you like some heat and some sun, you're very welcome. Of course, also if you just want to see what's going on there in the MANOC and the RIPE NCC regional meeting. And of course, the big RIPE meeting is coming up in May, this time once more in Amsterdam. And again, it might be sunny, but not as much as in Dubai. You're still very welcome. If you have any questions, I'm still here. Thank you. And I wish you a lovely lunch.
Thank you. That's all our presentations for today. I'd like to thank all our presenters again for taking the time to come and present, and I'd like to thank you all for attending this session. Enjoy your lunch and the rest of the conference. Thank you.